Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 6:30 p.m.
Tonight, a woman walking her dog followed by a stolen SUV. When the man inside points a gun at her, tells her to get in. That woman was able to get away, and now sheriff's deputies are asking for your help finding this guy. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Matt Austin.
I'm Ginger Gadsden. Deputies were able to get this image of the suspect before the attack. The attack happened back on Mother's Day in the Sunshine Gardens neighborhood off Lee Road. News 6's Laverne McGee is taking a deep dive into the investigation.
Take a close look at this surveillance video. Orange County Sheriff's Office say they need your help finding this man. He's suspected of trying to kidnap a woman who was walking her dog around 10 in the morning. They say she was threatened at gunpoint on May 11th near Addison Street and Lee Road. He apparently tried to force her into his vehicle, but she was able to run away. The suspect took off in a stolen Toyota 4Runner, which was later found abandoned by deputies.
I'm just so surprised that someone was actually almost abducted. That's like, wow.
I spoke with quite a few people in this neighborhood who say it's usually quiet and peaceful, but there are growing concerns about crime. Ralph Brianna has lived in this area since 1960.
I'm concerned about Lee Road, but we have this Motel 6, which is really bad. That's where the bad people are coming from. But there are people out there on drugs.
I asked District 5 Commissioner Kelly Semrat if she's addressing neighborhood safety concerns. Her office told us in part, "We're aware of the safety concerns and are working with Orange County Sheriff's Office and are looking into safety programs."
I have guns, and I watch. I think you have to be aware of what's going on in your neighborhood. I think that's the important thing. You know, when you see a stranger.
Authorities describe the suspect as having black hair, an average build, and possibly a tattoo on his left forearm. If you have any information, call the Orange County Sheriff's Office or crime line at 1-800-423-TIPS. Laverne McGee, News 6.
Okay, so here is another look at the suspect police are searching for. He's described as having black hair, an average build, and a tattoo on his left forearm. If you recognize him or have any information that could help police, call Crime Line at 800-423-TIPS.
Now to a live look at our Launch Credit Union port cam. Look at the sun glistening off the water there on the left side of your screen. Really a nice looking evening out there, and
Feels probably better by the water.
I would imagine. Yeah, it definitely does. Jonathan has the temperatures pulled up. They get, look, 80. There's an 84 out there. I don't even know what that feels like anymore.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, all the wind direction, guys. We talked about this last week, how it was blazing out. We were in the mid-90s along the coast, too. That's because our wind direction was out of the south and west. So you're heating things up over the inland peninsula and then pushing it right towards the coast. Today, different story, finally out of the east. So you're able to get a little bit of relief with that breeze off of the Atlantic today. And again, right now anyway, we're at 84 New Smyrna. And that's about 10 degrees cooler when you compare it to Orlando and Kissimmee. We're still hanging tight in the lower 90s, 91 in Leesburg. The Villages, we are checking in at 91. For most, it is still going to be steamy. Through the evening, 91 by 7, mid-80s by 9 o'clock. We're staying in the 70s pretty much all night long. Very warm start tomorrow. We're going to keep things very warm tomorrow. I think even warmer than where we were today. We'll talk about that and if there's any relief. There's very, very limited relief coming up in our 7-day forecast. It's because of this. You see that clockwise flow. Just look at the motion of the clouds. This is that big chunk of high pressure pretty much parked itself over the Yucatan Peninsula right now. Tomorrow, this kind of nudges up. That's the core of it anyway. Nudges up a little bit further. This, by the way, we're looking at about 20,000 feet above the surface, and that's just going to sit closer on top of us. It's going to bake us a little bit more, and this is going to influence our weather for the better part of the next 7 days and beyond. We'll show you that 7-day forecast at about 6:47, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, the Florida man who got national attention when critics say he mocked Christmas with his own holiday decoration inspired by Seinfeld now has a problem over the separation of church and state with a local school district.
News 6's James Barbero explains the guy behind this Festivus pole now has another satirical idea to display in Brevard County.
So you might remember Chaz Stevens, who's joining me in South Florida, from years back when he went to the state capitol and he put his Festivus pole next to the nativity display. Some people laughed about that. Others, maybe they weren't so amused. I remember Bill O'Reilly referred to you as Chaz the Kook.
Yeah, pinhead of the day. Exactly right, sir.
But you'll be the first to say that you like this kind of attention, don't you?
When the going gets stupid, they send me in, and this is my way of drawing attention to what I believe are important projects and important ideas.
All right, so why Brevard County now? What's here that's bothering you in relation to separation of church and state?
A former FIT Go Panthers graduate. I was up visiting my old hometown of Palm Bay, I don't know, a month or two ago, and right by the Palm Bay Magnet School, right there on Pirate and Babcock, I noticed that they had a sign up advertising for a church.
So in another use of satire, now Chaz is calling on the school district to take that church banner down or put up his banners for the Church of Satanology. Here's what that would look like. This is what he emailed every school board member. He says he's giving the district just a week to respond. I didn't get a response myself when I tried to talk to the district about this today. And what are you going to do, Chaz, if you don't get a response from our school board here?
File a lawsuit. I will go to court filing a lawsuit to secure my First Amendment rights. And if the school board wants to spend $50,000 to $100,000 defending this case in federal court, and the law and the case law is on my side, I'm going to teach them a lesson.
In Brevard County, I'm James Sparvero, News 6.
Were you trespassed from the airport just a few weeks ago?
Yep.
What did the airport trespass you for?
Picking up at the airport.
For not being registered with the city of Orlando.
Right.
Only on 6 tonight, we're there for the crackdown of what police are calling illegal drivers at Orlando International Airport. News 6 anchor Eric Von Anken first exposed the problem in September when legitimate vehicle for hire operators came to us to sound the alarm. The unregistered drivers were cutting into their business and potentially putting passengers at risk. They can charge a fraction of a cost for the ride, but that also means you might not be protected in an accident while someone is driving who hasn't been checked out.
Yeah, since then, police have handed out some 60 tickets, more than they have in years for this particular issue. Tonight, Eric is at MCO for an undercover sting. Police arranged to meet an unpermitted driver down the road from the airport who was already ticketed once for this.
It really comes down to one simple question. How do you know that the driver you're riding with from the Orlando International Airport is safe? We're not talking about Uber drivers, we're not talking about Lyft drivers, we're talking about these people, vehicle for hire operators. Well, typically a sticker like this shows they've been checked out by the city of Orlando and or by the airport. But what about drivers that don't have a sticker? Well, police have been checking out those drivers here at the airport and down the road at a Denny's.
The driver pulls in, lets out passengers, and then waits for the next pickup. But it's an Orlando police officer who arranged this ride. He walks over to the driver with his clipboard to hand her yet another citation. The problem? Sherry McGuire admitted to police and to us she is not registered with the city of Orlando as a vehicle for hire operator. Why is that a problem? Well, permitted drivers, that's taxis, shuttles, limos, bus drivers, have registered with the city of Orlando and the airport. Their permits cost hundreds of dollars, and they pay the airport as much as $13 per pickup. Also, they're background checked. They have to pass vehicle safety inspections, and they have to carry commercial liability insurance costing as much as $10,000 per vehicle per year.
And I should tell you, we first met Sherry McGuire back in September. After our first report on this issue aired, she called the station, accusing us of unfairly including her internet posting her ad in our reporting. She said she was not operating illegitimately. Well, since then, she was cited at the airport and trespassed from there. And as you can see again today, cited again here in this Denny's parking lot.
I didn't know that I had to be registered with the city of Orlando.
McGuire says she is properly insured. She tells me she pays $16,000 a year for her commercial vehicle liability insurance. But Orlando police say she should have known she needed to register with the city. This time, police are towing her car.
Were you trespassed from the airport just a few weeks ago?
Yep.
What did the airport trespass you for?
Picking up at the airport.
For not being registered with the city of Orlando.
Right.
And now you're standing here telling
he was
us.
Talking about just the airport. I didn't know, because he said the airport was in the city of Orlando. I didn't know that I had to be for the whole city of Orlando. I don't even know where the city limits are exactly.
Police tell me the enforcement will continue until the illegal rides stop. We'll keep checking back to see if they're getting results. For now, outside the airport, Eric Von Aken, News 6.
Difficult to argue that you didn't know when you've gotten a ticket for the very same
thing that you
issue.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, the airport has a full list of all the legitimate permitted companies on its website and the prices of rides to get around the airport and around town, so you know if a ride seems too cheap to be legit. You know the old saying.
I'm a sucker for that. Yeah,
you would
cheap.
listen, you would let a baby drive you around.
For the right price?
Probably.
Maybe.
All right, let's take a look at what's trending nationwide right now. The first one's pretty creepy. Most drivers passing through Port St. Lucie along I-95 have likely never heard of the Devil's Tree. Look at that thing.
So for those willing to explore the local Oak Hammond Park, it could be an unnerving experience. It's an eerie scene with a massive oak tree, made even creepier with its ties to an infamous serial killer. The killer cop had a habit of picking up hitchhikers during his service as a police officer near Fort Lauderdale and eventually as a deputy in Martin County. This tree is near 2 of his victims where their burial sites are. ClickOrlando.com features how investigators eventually caught the killer cop.
You have a story about this tree.
As a young man, a friend of mine lived near that tree in Port St. Lucie, and he took me there. And I thought he was lying until today when I read that story that was the site.
Full circle moment.
Yeah,
It took
I
you
was
all
kind of,
these
I had to
years
look at the
figure it
pictures.
out.
Is this
Yeah.
the one that he was taking me to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys
Never
would
trust
know
your
it's called the
friends when
Devil's
you're a
Tree.
kid.
Well, he didn't mislead you.
No, that's true.
Earlier last week, we showed you how the Dr. Phillips Center in downtown Orlando is bringing Broadway into classrooms. And then over the weekend, more than 1,600 students and people from different organizations had the chance to see Broadway at the theater. It's all a part of the center's community give back program. This weekend marked their largest give back event since starting it in 2017. Not only did the kids and organizations get free tickets to see The Lion King, they also got transportation to the theater, lunch, and the all-important swag bag. That's life-changing right there. And The Lion King's such a great show. For them
Have you
to see
seen it?
Yes.
It's good.
It's so good. I'm not even going to ruin it, but for them to be able to see that kind of performance at the Dr. Phillips Center, oh, so good.
It's going to inspire them
Yeah.
for their whole lives. Okay, well, a health expert with something called HIMSS put together a list of the healthiest fast food burgers in the U.S.
Hers didn't do it.
Is that an oxymoron? Healthiest fast food burgers?
Yeah, it's not
Now,
happening.
burgers are not known as a healthy option, but if you're craving a burger, some options, definitely healthier than others, Gigi. So the
let's hear about
healthiest
it.
burger is a Freddy's double steak burger, which you can find near the Violin Premium outlets down there.
Okay.
While you're getting a deal, you can get some little steak burger action. It can
Okay.
be pretty good. The next 3 healthiest burgers, all from Shake Shack, which
You introduced me to Shake Shack, by
I
the way.
love
You and your
some
wife
Shake
did.
Shack, yeah. Smoke Shack, the avocado bacon burger.
The
and
chicken sandwich is
The
my
shake
favorite.
burger. The Chicken Shack. I know we're talking about burgers here, but it'll change your life. Number 5 is the Double Sonic Smasher. If you're looking for really quick, you can go to
All of
Sonic.
these sound really dense and really big. They're all double something.
One of them had bacon on them.
That's more protein.
Right, it is, and fat. HIMSS, guys. Thanks, HIMSS. Here's a look at, well, a lot of hype around UCF football ahead of next season.
Yeah, but maybe we should be talking more about the women's rowing team instead. With a Big 12 title in hand, this team is in ship shape to compete at the NCAA championship.
And you might be thinking with Epic Universe opening this week, the construction might finally be clearing up, but there will still be plenty of traffic issues. What you need to know on the roads next. You're watching News 6 at 6:30. We're live on News 6 Plus, getting results in all of Central Florida. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Your Monday evening traffic alert. Look, there are no storms inbound, just heat. What does that mean? Construction ramp up. Southbound 417, you'll see it closed tonight and probably a few nights this week out by the Lee Vista area north of 528, and I-4 westbound at Kirkman down towards 528. Your westbound lanes will be shut down following a detour there, and it'll get you back on your main line. A lot of construction taking place right around here, I-4 in the Sand Lake area. It's got to get worse before it gets better. Just make sure you're driving safely. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 traffic alert. Drive carefully, and I'll catch you in the morning.
All right, everybody, it is the final countdown. We've been waiting for this. We are just 3 short days away from the official grand opening of Universal's Epic Universe. And these streets are expected to be just bumper to bumper. This is a live look at I-4 where, you know, things can get jammed up just because the sun's up.
What are you talking
And right near where that is in the tourist district, we're going to be working on some big construction projects there.
That's right. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez looks into how these projects will handle the flow of traffic to some of Orlando's biggest attractions.
The new westbound exit is good to go. Another sign of progress for the project, set to be done by 2027.
What's it been like with all the construction?
Horrible. Horrible. Yeah, I see a lot of accidents. It takes forever to get home, forever to get on there. It's horrible.
While people have different opinions,
I mean, it's hectic, but I'm excited for it to, get done. It is a lot of traffic here, but hopefully once it's opened up and functioning like normal, it'll make it easier for everyone to get around. So I'm excited for it.
the Beyond the Ultimate project is working to make the gateway to some of Central Florida's biggest attractions larger and more efficient. Last year, the diverging diamond on Sand Lake Road opened, eliminating the left turn and increasing the intersection's capacity. While it's taking form, it won't be done for 2 more years, leaving some frustrated.
I mean, it's mainly just inconvenience. It's the time when you get off and you have to sit. Literally, it'll take sometimes 20 to 30 minutes before you can even get on to I-4.
It's kind of like I'm wasting my time with all the time I just spend sitting in traffic.
With Universal's newest theme park, Epic Universe, having its grand opening this week, there's set to be even more traffic on the interstate. But the hope is once everything is said and done, things will be a lot easier.
I-4 always needs help. And yeah, now that Epic is opening up, Disney's always busy. So yeah, I think it'll definitely help with the tourist traffic as well.
And the work on the intersection continues this week. I-4 between Kirkman Road and State Road 528 will be closed overnight until Friday morning as crews work to widen the westbound exit there. Reporting in Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Such a complicated place already.
Then you add all
Epic
those
Universe
extra
really
cars
opens
there.
up. It's gonna be wild. All right, let's take a live look at Mount Dora. Take in that beautiful sunset out there. The lakes are gorgeous this time of year, and they're a place you want to be, whether it's the ocean, we show you the Daytona Beach shot often, or the lakes out there in the center of the state.
Any of it.
It's all beautiful.
It is.
And you're going to want all of it because the heat is just here for good.
It is, yeah. I don't know that we'll have another cold front in our future. We're getting to that point now where it's the
really
point of
a
no
cold
return,
front
and
anymore.
until.
And this is unusual because people will say, inevitably, we'll get emails saying, hey, that's why we live in Florida, we like it hot. But it is too hot for this time of year.
It's too hot, too early, and there's ramifications we pay down the line for that red tide, things like that. So you don't want this mid to upper 90s so early in the season. Unfortunately, we're getting that.
We like the heat too, but not like this.
Absolutely, for sure. Like middle of June. I mean, it gets hot, and like, don't get me wrong, like it's normally hot in May, but we're normally talking upper 80s, maybe sneaking into the low 90s, maybe a day in the mid 90s every now and then. But now we're an extended stretch, and that stretch is going to continue as we keep things blazing hot for the next few days. Also on the drier side, we still are in a drought, and a significant one at that. We still need some extra rain. I do think there's some coming at the end of the 7-day forecast, really beyond the 7-day forecast. There's not much on it when I show you in a couple of seconds. 91 in Groveland, Leesburg, we're still at 91. Slipped now into the upper 80s in Bushnell, Daytona Beach. We are at 87, much nicer along the coast when you factor in that breeze now coming in off of the Atlantic. Toasty morning tomorrow, starting to get into that period as well where it's hard to get out of the 70s again, and most mornings are now going to start in the low to mid 70s. Groveland and Leesburg, we're starting at 74 tomorrow. Now here's a look at the afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by the Florida Lottery.
Highs tomorrow, a degree hotter than where we were today. Forecasting 96 in Orlando, also that in Kissimmee, 97 in Holopah. Melbourne, West Melbourne, good evening. We are back into the low 90s. Palm Bay, we are at 95 degrees under a mainly sunny sky. Tomorrow, all the active weather has been back towards our north and west. Big severe weather outbreak ongoing. All these red polygons popping up, or tornado warnings out in Oklahoma, parts of Arkansas, Missouri, and into Kansas. Nasty, nasty night in Kansas last night with a few really big tornadoes. Again, we're protected from all of that for the foreseeable future. And if anything sneaks in, it's going to be few and far between in terms of just some light rain chances. Watching the drought numbers here, these have been creeping up ever so slightly after our nice dose of rain. What was it, about 7 to 10 days ago now? 500 is the critical number where you start to see those burn bans issued by local counties. These numbers are measured, and it's an average of measurements taken of the soil all across the county. And you see here, while we're doing okay in Seminole and Orange County, in the blue and only about 233 and 213 respectively, where we are seeing the change, we're adding about 20-ish points a day. So if we continue to go a week or two without any kind of rainfall, that's going to change, and we're going to start to get ourselves in a little more trouble again. The good news is, I think, 26th, 27th of May. This is the outlook from the 25th to the 29th. You see a lot of green there. I think that's when we turn the spigot back on and we start to see those sea breeze storms coming back at us on a more widespread scale again. So we are watching that closely as well. 96 on Tuesday tomorrow. We're at 94 degrees on Wednesday. We are at 93 on Thursday. Those limited rain chances coming back at us at 20% Thursday and Friday. Memorial Day weekend looking mainly dry and pretty toasty. We'll be right back.
I'm Angie Casada.
And I'm Trooper Steve. Coming up in the morning, getting ready for summer travel season.
Experts say it could be changing because of the economy, how that could impact Central Florida.
And the May heat wave continues. We'll have your weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
We'll see you in U6 Morning starting at 6 a.m.
Well, the University of Central Florida's women's rowing team is making waves after capturing the Big 12 championship, a first for many of these athletes.
Yeah, News 6's Jana Manaholal is showing us how the Knights are gearing up to compete in the NCAA championship next week.
It's been a season of hard work and high hopes for the UCF rowing team. The Knights have pulled together for a historic win, winning their Big 12 championship just this past weekend. And for many, including junior Natasha Volianas, this moment has been years in the making.
It's pretty surreal, to be honest. Like, I was talking to a lot of my teammates yesterday and just thinking, imagine what I could look back at my freshman self and tell myself that this was going to happen. It would have just been unreal.
But Natasha and her teammates are focused on what comes next.
As much of a big milestone it was definitely also a stepping stone for hopefully what's to come.
Now what you're seeing here is a collection of flags from around the world, and it's a true representative of the athletes that are participating at the UCF women's rowing team. And they have one collective goal, and that's to win the NCAA championship.
Brigitte Kaupler is an international student who knows that this sport is more than what meets the eye.
I think a lot of mental toughness as well as physical toughness. I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize.
Head coach Mara Allen says the NCAA championship is tough, but so is the hard work ahead.
Actually doing it feels very different than wanting to do it, so that felt really great. And then just that sense of, oh my gosh, now we have to go to NCAAs and we better get prepared.
How do you advise them to take care of both their physical but also like their mental health?
Yeah, the load is real. So we think of this as part of their education. We want boats to go fast, but if we're not doing it and we're not creating better people out of it, and we're just trying to get boats to go fast, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in how much this sport can teach people about being ready for the rest of their lives.
At Lake Pickett, Jana Manahawal, News 6.
Good for them. That's a huge deal.
Those rowers are some of the most fit people.
Unbelievable.
You can tell a rower by their backs. They're just like, you walk behind them and you know that it's not what our backs look like.
Maybe stop staring at people's backs, man. Just some advice.
Thanks for making it weird again.
Thank you so much for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus smart TV app.
We'll be back tonight at 11. See, that looks like that.